Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I am so excited because I'm a super fan of this amazing woman, Jewel Marlow. She has the most creative, beautiful Instagram page and blog. And like I said, I really, really am a super fan. So thank you for being on today.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm really thankful that you had me. I love that you do these programs and I'm excited to start watching more. I watched one last night and it was really great. So
Oh,
thank you.
good. Good. Yeah. So thank you for being on. Your style, well, let's talk about why you started your Instagram page and your blog and like where did all this creativity come from?
Okay. So I'm a military spouse. My husband is an Air Force fighter pilot. We've been for about 20 years. And along the way, we've moved, we've uprooted, we've done all the things that military spouses and families do. And then our 2 assignments ago, my husband was a commander and I poured my heart into the squadron and I love them. I love them all so much. But at the end, I was just realizing that there was nothing that I'd done for myself for the last 2 years. And so I was like, knowing that I was going into the next year, 1-year assignment where I wouldn't have any responsibilities, people have suggested that I should start a blog. I had never read a blog other than maybe on a Pinterest link, but I wasn't following blogs. I didn't have an Instagram account. But I thought, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe I should try my hand at it. So I bought a $200 Rebel camera from a friend that was like 8 years old. And I tried to learn how to take some pictures. And I look back now, they're really bad, really bad pictures. But I photographed my house there and I started an Instagram account. And then we moved to another assignment for a year to Rhode Island. So I got a whole nother house full of pictures. And then a year later, we're now here in our hopefully forever home that we've lived in before, a long story.
Oh.
But this is the home that we feel like we can invest a little bit more in because it's our actual home that we own.
Yeah.
And it's been fun. It's been a really fun journey because I think I've kind of practiced the first couple. And then now I'm here and I've been able to build this up to what I want my brand to represent. And I've developed some really good relationships with a lot of really cool companies.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned a lot along the way.
So the way you mix different patterns and colors and textures is something that I can't wrap my mind around, right? So tell me a little bit about how does your mind think and like, how do you come up with these designs? Because they're beautiful and I love them.
Well, thank you. So it's kind of a crazy place in here. And it's funny. I feel like over these last 3 years, it's gotten crazier and crazier in there. The more I delve into this creative realm, the harder real life living is.
Yeah, right.
I'm always thinking about color and processing pattern and walking into a space and like focus.
Yeah.
But what for me, I'm inspired by things that are dramatic, bold. I know you like glam, things that make me think. And I'm attracted to color. I love walking to people's homes that are neutral and earthy and textural. And I think those are very important elements. But for me, in my own home, I'm happy when I see color. Mm-hmm. And so that's totally a personal thing. And not everyone's going to agree with that. And that's great. And you should have whatever you're drawn to. But I like wallpaper because it's an easy way to get instant change. Same with paint, big dramatic change. I like great lighting because it's really the jewelry of the room. Things like molding. I do a lot of molding in my designs because I live in a traditional home. I can get away with it.
Yeah.
It just dresses up a space. It makes the walls feel taller. It's amazing. I don't know how or why it does that. It's a vertical effect. Yeah. And I love painting the ceilings the same color as the walls. So it's a very enveloping experience. When people come over, they walk in and I had a contractor come to give us some quotes on some windows the other day. So it was weird to have someone in my house, but yeah. It'd be interesting to see his reaction as he went from room to room. He's just like, what? What's going on here? But he liked it. He said he wouldn't do that in his own home, but he wanted to just keep looking. He couldn't stop looking. So I I like to mix things that are old and new. So I like trends,
Yeah.
but I like to pair trends with things that feel safe and traditional.
Mhm.
I love when people have a completely traditional room, and I love people have a completely trendy room, but without the newness or the freshness. I feel like completely traditional rooms for me feel a little bit stale sometimes. Whereas if you mix it, it gives it that dynamic that you're not expecting. There needs to be something funky or surprising or unexpected in every room for me. Whereas if you go with a room that's completely trendy, it's pretty, but in 3 years, may not be in style anymore. So I like to layer in the eras, and it's hard for me to pick a favorite. So I've learned that if I am consistent with different eras and the amount of mixing in my home, then even though every room is different, there still feels like there's cohesion. So what would be an example of that? So I have mid-century lighting on this floor mostly. So you go from room to room, and it's a traditional house, but there's modern lighting, and so that feels consistent. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
I have very modern kitchen island, but I have traditional cabinets that are the original cabinets. A, to save money, and B, because it's a traditional home, so I wanted to keep the bones there. But then you go to the dining room, and I have crazy wallpaper and a modern vintage table, but then I have right now I hung a modern traditional mirror and traditional drapes. So it's a mix for me. It's all about the drama of the mix.
Honestly, the way you explain it now just makes total sense. Like as I watch your stories and see your home, because the way you say it's an enveloping experience, that really stuck out to me because it's true. Because that's when I see your photos, I feel like I wonder what it's like to be in that space, because it just feels like there is always something bold and fun in there, and it's still warm and very inviting, and so someplace I would like to be.
Yeah, right.
I think that's who I am at heart. I just don't know how to put it together.
Right. There are some accounts that are even more colorful than me, and I think it's great in their house. For me, my comfort level is about where I'm at right now, and I generally like happy colors. I use a lot of pastels, but I mix them with things that anchor that, so it doesn't feel too Candyland. And that's another important thing is because we've moved all over. We've lived in Europe. One of the places we lived was England, and I would go to the auctions. I'd buy pieces, I'd refurbish them and resell them. And this is one of the highlights of my life, to think about those times when I'd buy that old junky chair and I'd make it look pretty and learn how to upholster. So I have some DIY skills from that experience, but also I just appreciate antiques. So I feel like every room should have something old, either antique or vintage. And if I buy everything brand new, it lacks soul. It lacks the character. It doesn't tell the story that I want it to feel like I've collected something versus I've gone and bought something. So mixing in old vintage art, it could be from a thrift store. They don't need to know that. And mixing it in with, new things.
Yeah. I I love the way you explain that. I used to antique a lot with my mom and my grandma. So I love going into antique stores, but my home is, well, we've done a remodel in a year. So I just had to get it up to par from like not, so you know this, right? Like you're just trying to get the basics in. And then now I have the basics. I'm like trying to add a little more level, a little more this, a little more that. And before it was just a empty space. So now that I finally have that, I feel like the way you're talking is like bringing the traditional in and bringing older pieces and bringing the bold pieces. It totally makes sense how you are layering, and I love it. I'm gonna room and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is you say that you get a baseline first and then you add to it, and that's how I used to do it, and it makes so much more sense. I don't know why I do that anymore, but somewhere along the way I've stopped striving for the baseline in every room, and then I think it's because of the timeline of trying to basically do a room every month or two, that there was never time to build up a baseline. And so I have some rooms that look amazing, and then I have rooms that look really bad that I just haven't done yet. And I'm like, it's okay, it'll be a better before and after. But it's funny, my tolerance for that has adjusted
Yeah.
in this process. So good on you. Good
How
job. Good to go.
Well, I still have a couple. My bedroom is just like whatever. I still have plenty of rooms that need stuff. But I got new flooring in. We painted the walls, and then I got like some furniture to fill up the space. And we did some molding. And you're right. When we did the molding in the front, I'm like, let's just do one wall. And then afterwards, like, oh, we're doing all the walls.
We're going. Isn't
And,
it so pretty? I love it.
yeah. And so yeah, it's true. Just adding that little extra texture. Now I'm like thinking, oh, maybe I'll add a little bit thing over here, or maybe I'll move the sofa upstairs and I'll bring something else in here. Like I love mixing things around. And I'm finally like, I moved 6 times in 2 years just because with my husband's job. So I get like the moving. So this is the first year, a little over a year, I've been able to like nest and like really like in like get into my style a little bit more. And I'm still evolving.
Right.
And
Right. That
talking to you and like talking to other Instagram influencers and designers and bloggers, it's like I get inspiration from that too. So it's like it's a never ending process of evolving your design, which is so fun and keeps it creative.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking that I'm like 6 rooms away from being done, but then I thought, are you ever done? Or is it just an evolution? Don't tell that to my husband.
He thinks you're 6 rooms away.
Yeah, he thinks we're 6 rooms away.
Okay, I want to talk about the one room challenge.
Sure.
So tell us just a little bit about that and like the experience and like how do you plan it and all your experiences doing it. How many times have you done it?
7.
Okay. Was the kitchen your last one or was it
No.
the room?
No. I can go in order. So when we first moved to Rhode Island, I didn't have any sponsors on my first one. Had no idea how to get started. I just knew that people did the one room challenge. It sounded like fun. It sounded like a fun community event, and it is. I love that part of it. And so I did things like stapled ribbon to the fireplace. Like, the pictures, it looks okay, but it was a rental. I didn't want to invest a lot of money, but I wanted big impact. So I invested in silk curtains and some furniture that I ended up selling before I left. But it was a good learning experience. So that was with like 3,000 followers.
Oh.
Didn't know how to get sponsors at the time. But then 6 months later, I started to get my first couple of sponsors. I did a kind of a moody maximalist room that you probably can't even find pictures of on my Instagram. But like leopard wallpaper and a terrazzo sofa. And then I I moved here. And by then I'd kind of figured out the whole sponsorship thing and how you work with companies. And the One Room Challenge is a great way when you're first starting out to network, B, meet people. Network, B, work with companies. So because you're part of something larger, you have the ability to say, hey, so-and-so company that I would really love to have here, whatever, to make my room look better. Because the whole point is to get kind of the best room that you can. And you can achieve that so much easier when you're working with companies that can help you with that, right? So pitching to companies that I've learned which ones I like to work with and which companies I only want to promote things that I truly believe in, right? So the ones that you see me use over and over again, it's because I really, really like them and that's who I want to put in my house. So I learned how to reach out to them, how to pitch and say, this is my vision and this is what I want. And meanwhile, my style is evolving. Mm-hmm. And it's really fun to see a room start out horrible, like really bad. And then to add these different products in and highlight how much of a change they can make. And then in the end, be able to photograph it and be like, we did this. And then meanwhile, you're supporting your other friends in the One Room Challenge. You're just, developing this network. It's really fun. And so,
what's the timeline do they give you? Like, how long do you have a month? Is it a month?
6 weeks generally. One Room Challenge is, currently 2020, it's a little bit different right now with COVID. Thankfully, they extended it a little bit. But then I moved into here. I did my living room and my dining room. That was fun. Then I did my bedroom, and then I won, or I was selected. They're all winners. We're all winners, but it was selected to be a feature blogger the following time. So that's when I did my kitchen and this room behind me.
Okay.
And that one was the hardest because obviously there's more pressure as a feature blogger. It was a lot to tackle in that timeline with one contractor and a husband who was not home because he was working a lot. That one, I lost a lot of hair and weight, but I'm really glad I got it done.
Late nights, not sleeping.
No, early mornings for me, really early morning. And then I did a bathroom.
You have 4 children, right?
Yes,
so
yeah.
So you're full time. You're full time in so many ways.
So many ways. Yes. Luckily, I don't sleep a lot, so I get better for it. But then I did a bathroom in 2020, just because it was a simple, manageable space. And then, the next one. This one will be so good. It's not quite finished yet, but the installers come tomorrow. So it's my neighbor's house, because I wanted a really cool room, and she had a rough year, and so I'm like, let's do this. Let's do this. So we, it's gonna be gorgeous. Like probably my best room, but we were waiting for the countertop table to come in. It's a custom table. So next week we're gonna reveal it, and I can't wait. And I've linked up to the One Room Challenge, but the big pictures it's coming next week. It's gonna be a big week.
Awesome.
And that's it. I think that was 7.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. I can't wait to see.
I know.
You got me so excited. I'm like, I gotta do my bedroom. I gotta get it done.
Well, yeah, what challenge? Do it. It's fun.
I don't know. I feel like I have like 20 jobs. I probably I don't sleep either very well. So I'll literally lay up, like my kids will be like, Mom, I'm going to come decorate my tree for Christmas. And I'm like laying in bed. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get this. I'm going to get that. Yeah. Anytime I get it, I got to do my granddaughter's nursery and she's like, you get carte blanche. I'm like, really?
Put on the wheels all night long.
Put the brakes on a lot of stuff. I was like, but
yes.
So yeah, I get it. I can imagine.
Definitely.
That's exciting. So, well then I'll be looking forward to seeing that. And it's so cool that you did it for your neighbor.
And it was a fun experience. And then COVID got a little scarier around here. So we kind of had everyone, I think the whole 2020 thing really did kick in. I'm glad we had the extra time because I think people got sick and my neighbor got sick. Anyway, not that neighbor, but long story, but
yeah,
2020 is a real thing.
Yeah, it's been a tough year. I kind of look at it. It's also been a little bit of blessing. Like I've spending so much time with your immediate family and, virtually checking in on your friends more. And I'm starting to reflect on the first few months were very scary. I might've drank a lot. And then I started this podcast and started, like, okay, let's get creative. I'm home all the time. What are all these things I've been wanting to do now that, I have the time, let's do them. So I'm going to look at it. I'm going to try to look at it as a blessing, but
yeah, no, I agree. We've had a lot of good family time that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So I was joking with them. You guys are always home. You never leave. And we laughed. It's been really fun though. I will look back, I think it was a really fun year.
Yeah. I hope so. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think hopefully there's more good than bad for most people. I'm hoping.
We've been blessed with help, so that helps a lot too.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. So you are also a blogger. So where can people find your blog?
Jeweled Interiors. So Jewel, because Jewel Interiors was taken. Jeweled Interiors.
And you love that.
Yeah.
Okay, all your links and everything will be on there. But before we end, I do have like someone who wants to start an Instagram page or let's talk to the basics. Someone who's like seen your page and they really want to start, like, what would you say? What are a few tips for like the brand new influencer? What should they do, or some lessons you've learned along the way?
Okay, so there's a lot. One of them is figuring out what your goal is, because people blog or Instagram for different reasons. And how do you know if you've achieved success if you don't know what those goals are? So for me, my goal has never been to make a lot of money off of this. It's been to build my portfolio. It's been to get experience. refine my design. I haven't taken all the steps that maybe I could have taken to make it a really profitable business, but it wasn't the priority. So that maybe has more to do with the blogging end. But I like the community, and I like the fact that I hope that I'm inspiring people. So those are all the motivations for me. So knowing the direction that you want it to go, photography is big. If you could have an amazing room, but if you don't know how to take pictures, or you don't have someone taking pictures for you, you'll grow, but generally not as fast. There are definitely exceptions to that. People that just take iPhone pics and they're huge and it's awesome and I love it. But good lighting, good photography is an important key, especially if you're working with companies. If you are trying to pitch a room to a company, they're going to look at your photography. If they can't use your photography on their websites, yes, you might have influence, but it's not as valuable to them. They want to be able to use your images. So good photos.
That's the trade.
Yeah. I feel like there's more. It's a time warp. So if you're going to do it, be prepared for investing a lot of time. And also it's a black hole. So this was something my friend told me one time when we first started, she's like, be careful because it'll suck you in and you'll lose all free time. And there is some truth to that. So whether that means you enter with eyes wide open and you're willing to invest the time, or you put limits and you decide that your time is more valuable than the investing the time and the potential growth. Right. Just figuring that out in the beginning, like how important are each of those factors to you?
Yeah.
Another thing is finding what makes you unique. So what is your contribution to Instagram or to the design world? What makes you different from every other farmhouse or from every other whatever style blogger out there? What is the thing that's the defining characteristic? So I think for me, it's people would think of me as a colorful blogger, eclectic, interesting mix of things. For someone else, it could be something entirely different. And I feel like the ones that know their niche grow fastest. So if you are really good at painting amazing murals on walls, and they're so good, do it. Like that's your thing. And sometimes you don't know right away what that is, and it takes a little while to figure out what your thing is. But find your thing and do your thing.
And do it well.
Yeah.
Keep honing it. Because
right.
Over time.
For you do these videos that are amazing and people love them and they're so helpful, and I don't know how to do that, but that's your thing and you do it so well. And
I'll teach you. And also, does this print go with this print?
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. So just knowing what you're passionate about, because you're going to spend a lot of time doing it. Yeah. And if you don't like doing videos, then don't do videos. If you don't like taking pictures, do the videos. And if you don't, find out what your thing is.
Hire a photographer. Like I said, I don't do my own photos. I can't. And it takes too much mental energy for me to figure it out. And I don't want to. And I can just have someone come and do it. And now she and I are so clicked together. I hardly have to tell her what to do. She just walks in. She's like, okay, what specifically? And then she just goes around and does it. And then I have a whole month's worth of photos. So yeah, you got to figure out your week.
Send her to my house.
She's amazing. You can't have her. I'm like, don't ever move, Natalie.
That's fun.
But yeah, you're finding your strengths and your weaknesses and work on your strengths.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. So for me personally, I eventually plan to cross over and do more design work for other people in 2021. I do want to have some closure on my own home first. So whether that means I dabble in one and dabble in both, or finish one and then start the other. I'm not quite sure how the timing works, but I think it's a good launching pad. So if you're trying to start your own business, obviously exposure is a good thing. So I'm thankful to Instagram for that. it has been a little bit of a love-hate relationship in the fact that it just really does take a lot of time. And I value my real life relationships so much. And it's hard when you realize that, you're on your phone and your kid's asking you a question, or you're on your phone and real life is happening around you. So that would be just another eyes wide open thing to consider is I think in retrospect, I have missed out on some opportunities just because I've been absorbed for an hour a day on Instagram. So that's another take it or leave it tip.
I think it's true. It's like, the other day it popped up that I've been on my phone for 8 hours a day. And I'm like, I don't have littles at home, but I still have a husband, and my son's older, but he works, but I still have a life outside of Instagram. 8 hours. I'm like, that can't be right.
No, but I get you. I get you.
It hit me to be like, okay, put the phone down at night more, put the phone, put it away. Don't pick it up first thing in the morning, even though that's what we want people to do to come to our page.
Yeah.
In reality, social media can be a time suck for us influencers as well,
Yeah. Definitely.
It's not just my stuff. Like, I'm on everybody's page. I'm trying to give everyone a comment that I can see, or do this or that, or, give back to the community too. So that there's a lot of that goes into it.
That's something I didn't understand the first year that I started Instagramming is I would post and I got the hashtags, and maybe I'd comment on one or two people's posts and I'd walk away and be like, all right, I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
But it really is an hour of engagement plus checking back every 15 to 20 minutes throughout the day. And it's a lot. It's a lot of time. So if you're new, there you go. I warned you.
Be prepared. It's not just decorating the things and then taking.
No. It's funny how many skills you have to learn, especially if you start the blog, because you have to learn the internet stuff. You have to learn the pitching to companies, the design, yes, the photography, the social media, a lot of different skill sets that I never would have guessed in my lifetime that as a middle-aged woman, I would learn how to do. Yeah.
It was so funny when I first started my Instagram. My daughter had, I think, 4,000 followers. And my goal was just to get past her. Just
I think you did. Yes, you.
What are you doing? Like, what do you like? And I'm like, I don't know. I like design. I'm like excited to share. Like, this is the first time I've got to share my, things that I like with people, and people were responding. And so the day I passed her, I remembered it. I was like, and I'm like, hey, because she was giving me so much crap. But
yeah, it is pretty funny when you have more followers, exponentially more followers than your teenager or your older children.
It's funny the whole time you're doing it. On Instagram.
It's true.
Now it's TikTok. What are you doing on TikTok? Like, I don't know. I just tried to do it too.
Do you have a TikTok account?
Yeah, I have a TikTok also. I'm on
nice.
all the social medias. Sometimes it's a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah, it is a lot.
I just put my videos onto TikTok that I do for Instagram. So yeah, that's just how I translate. I did a couple funny meme ones when the COVID first happened because I was bored, and that yeah, I have about 60,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow.
And it's just sharing video, and then I share old videos, so like I'm able to repurpose that. And so it's just kind of that. But I have friends that has like 500,000 people, like they blew up. So it's just fun.
How many times a week do you post to TikTok?
Every day.
So you're posting to Instagram and TikTok, and then the YouTube. Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a TikTok, Instagram, 2 Instagram pages, YouTube once a week, the blog posts every week, doing the podcast. I'm a realtor in real life, so I'm still selling houses.
Yeah, so you really don't sleep.
No, I don't. But hey, so is life. I'm loving it. I'm lucky. Yeah. I feel fortunate that I get to try all these different things and get to meet people like you. And I just want to say, like, I am really, I was a secret super fan, but now I am. So thank you so much for coming on today. I love your home, and I can't wait to see your one room challenge reveal and follow your journey.
Thank you so much. You're awesome, Lisa.
You're awesome. So I will talk to you on Instagram. Thank you again.
Sounds good. Stay safe.
You
Stay
too.
healthy. Thank you.